YouTubers, hi, I'm back with 25 books to 2025, recording this in 2024, 1st of October actually in Great Yarmouth. I'm actually going home in 2 days, so I'm doing as many as I can. So if in a charity shop, by the winner of the Guardian's Children's Fiction Award by Rachel Anderson, it's called Bloom of Youth. I read this in one setting, I read this on a very, very long bus ride, and here we are, okay? It's a very interesting book as well, okay? For young Ruth, the future beckons, rich with dreams, busy in the 1950s. There's no halfway between girlhood and womanhood. Where does a young schoolgirl seek life and hope before slips beyond reach? Interesting, okay? How's that was to know this rambling country paradise couldn't last. I say we're in the bloom of youth, right for transformation for uncouth savages to manageable young ladies. My sister says out there is real life, blessed with passion, love, fulfillment, and we've got to find it. It's a very, very interesting book. It's literally like one big narrative flow, okay, basically a year of Ruth's life. Now, interesting because so much happens to her, and it's interesting too because, as I said before, this was no difference, okay, between girlhood and womanhood, okay. Now a good example, okay, is this, okay, in this, basically back then, okay, you left school at 14. For the age of 14 you had to actually figure out your life, right? Some people wanted higher education, but some women didn't. I mean, imagine, okay, leaving school at 14 years old, which was a standard at the time, and having to figure out your life from that moment, right? It's a very interesting time. And the thing is this, okay, it's like, when it comes to this, okay, my elder sister and I lay in the garden under the old twisty apple tree. I'm thinking about love, she said. So am I. It come this afternoon in a white sports car. White, you sure? And the daft idea a sports car of our dreams would be black. Said, hey, listen, there's this kit I've been reading about, your do-it-yourself car. So you can build your own Alfa Romero Spider. I'm sure it's black. The kit cost £3,000. If I had the money to buy the kit, if I knew how to put it together, which would include some soldering skills and understanding about the electrics, if I learned to drive and I'll be the last, and if I was old enough to have a license, I could speed us both away to find life and love with big L's. I could 6 pence a week pocket money, as I did my sister. A quaint yet kindly mother considered this perfectly adequate. Right, that's the thing. The young girls, okay, they have pocket money, and their life, okay, is very, very interesting too, okay, because they live for 1950s, a very, very kind of bohemian kind of world, okay, a bohemian kind of world, okay, where they have basically free range life. They live in the countryside, okay, and their mother is a writer. And the thing is this, okay, once again, it's a very kind of unsettled world in also many kinds of ways. This is kind of a deconstruction, okay, of that bohemian world, but it's like the bohemian world, okay, of the 1950s, which I thought was very, very interesting. And I think looking back, okay, these children running wild, okay, would be quite bohemian, but it's not. They're yet to actually experience what is the counterculture. Now, they live in a world, okay, kind of on the fringes, okay, it's post-war England. There's kind of like a reminiscent, okay, of what went before, okay, before the war. And when it comes, okay, to her mother, okay, television crews occasionally came to make programs about her mother. She wrote verse pageants for holy young people, which are said to be very popular, even with the unholy. They were certainly more successful than her father's serious poems and plays on military history themes. None of them, what father knew, had been published or staged during my lifetime. So that's the thing. Her parents are writers, but her father's got like this more kind of bit more steward job. Father's more, okay, the academic. And the thing is this, they actually run a holiday home for children. Children come from all around the world and spend time in their home and living the bohemian ideal, okay? Living a free range life, okay, for summer before they go back to their own countries and things are a bit more, go back to what's expected. Alright. So, and the thing is, when it comes, okay, to her mother's name, once again, now, this bit here, right? Her mother was actually called Veritas, right? Her mother's name is Veritas, right? A child of 38, parental affection was an odd thing. Right, so was her name. A lot of people got it wrong and called her Verity, Valerie, Vera, or even Fenella. Denise was no exception. Her grandfather was a vicar who called each of his daughters after qualities they might inspire to. He also decided his quality must be in a different language. We had our Aunt Thrift after English had been economical. That's me, actually. Okay, no, I'm Aunt Thrift, okay, I'm just thrifty. Charity after the French for charity, and Speranza after the Italian word for hope. Mother landed up with the Latin word for truth. Right, so now mother is called Veritas, but it's called everything else in between. Right. So interesting as well, okay, of this kind of world, okay, of a reverend grandfather, okay, who called a daughter Thrift. Okay. Ideals, okay, absolute ideals. Okay. And when it comes, okay, to the actual kind of holiday home for children, and when it comes, okay, about being, because this is of the danger, this is very interesting too, because It's a kind of, basically the idea of the free range lifestyle. Here we are, right? And when Denise, okay, is a friend of theirs who never gets her name right, who comes in and basically organises things, and she's like very la 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 kind of thing. She's very kind of flighty, okay, but also very, very blunt as well. That's her mother's best friend. Here we are, right? Oh goodness knows they're Veritas. That's why they send their children here, for the freedom, for the marvellous exposure to danger we offer. I had to pay extra for their children are wounded, said my father with a charming smile, with Shirley's flash of gold tooth. A long time ago, in the days of silent movies, before any of us had been born, he'd been a film star. You still couldn't tell when he was telling the truth or when he was acting. And that's the thing. It's quite interesting too, because that in any other book would have more depth to it. Okay, he was an actor. He did this. He did that. He was a silent film star. But it's not. It's brief. It's kind of rushes through life. It's like one kind of breeze. The last summer of this woman's childhood, if you will. But there's no more development, okay, of her father being a film star, which I thought was very, very interesting from a narrative point of view. Right. But the thing is this, in all this, okay, there's the first beauty of love. Her father becomes ill, he winds up in hospital for a very, very long time. Her mother basically has to start managing things behind the scenes and is also struggling for it. And in all this, there's a juxtaposition, okay, between Ruth's life, because even though, okay, she's living a free range lifestyle, she still, okay, knows Latin, she knows deportment, that kind of thing. Even though, okay, she doesn't have much opportunity to actually use it. She's very much on the cusp of society, if you will, as is her family. So, and then, okay, she mentions, okay, that she fancies a boy on the land called Tommy. Tommy was a boy labourer. I was a girl who knew Latin, who was so respectful he didn't offer to help me push my bike. We reached the crest of the hill, time for me to remount and rush away with him, down there with hot wet in the eyes and cold wet wind in the ears, spinning through the deep dusk beneath the hedges. Right. That's the thing, but you would think, okay, Tommy would have more of a part in this. Tom would actually ask her out, Tom would, but he doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. This is an interesting point of view, okay, because one thing is this, okay, as it's from the point of view of a child, Ruth is very I. Okay, she doesn't deal with change very well. She doesn't deal, okay, with anything big change whatsoever. And when it comes, okay, to the parlour boarders, okay, the boarders, okay, who actually are in the house for the summer, and they come from all over the world, okay, to stay with her. Now, this holiday, I was sharing my bedroom with a boarder, the daughter of a rich Persian, or rather, my room had been boardered, and she was kindly sharing it with me. She was 14, large, and perpetually tired. She was scared of heavy creatures, so my cats were banned from the room, which seemed especially harsh when the weather was cold. Although she's really allergic, I complained to Vetus on behalf of my cats. Maybe not, but she's in a foreign country, and we must do what we can to make her feel at home. Okay? But the thing is, when it comes to Bordeaux, okay, now interesting too, okay, because someone like Bordeaux, okay, his father could be a Persian prince, and Bordeaux could be a princess. They're a little bit vague. It's fact is, okay, that Bordeaux is only a year older than Ruth, but she's in an arranged marriage. Okay, interesting kind of thing, because remember this is the 1950s. It's set. This book is set in, and when it comes to Bordeaux, taking out a picture, okay, of her my very beloved, okay. He's my betrothed. She shook her head and explained that the pudgy boy was a husband to be, as she only met him once before father sent her away to an English boarding school to pass her time. She was 16 and old enough to for marriage, right? But this would panic for myself as much as Bordeaux was only a year older than me, yet a future was settled. My own vague thoughts about seek imaginary men and fast cutting is childishly immature. And are you still in love with him? Not yet, not the time, but when the time love will be there for me. My father is a good man, and he has chosen wisely for me. Such trust I will not trust either of my parents to choose anything wisely for me, let alone a beloved to last a lifetime. Right. My boarder's father made money in the Middle East. Mine remained in a hospital bed. At least they moved him out to the undignified cot. Our father's been taken ill, and that's the thing. That is the absolute thing. And in the end, okay, our father slips away, which is a massive, massive transformation, okay, for Ruth. It happens over Christmas, okay. He actually passes away on the 3rd of January. So there's not much time we could actually arrange a funeral post-Christmas. And it's interesting too, because once again, the outside world is really encroaching in on Ruth's life. And in ways, okay, that it comes to various other things. Like when it comes to the actual funeral, it should have been a massive turnout, massive event, and it wasn't. It was tiny. It was absolutely tiny. Even the vicar was wrong. There's an element of what would be considered in many, many novels, basically like a comedy. Like it's a small funeral. It's the vicar who didn't even know them. Everything goes wrong. The kids actually design a wreath, but everyone in town actually did a nice better one, and children's views are absolutely ridiculous in comparison, that kind of thing. The people are saying, oh, they're nice. In another lens, that could be even written as a comedy, but it's not, as a tragedy. There's a wonderful melancholy air about this book, which I did appreciate. It was kind of pulled into Ruth's story, which kind of hesitance of this world. Now remember, she's a teenager about to be launched into the world, but she's got no idea what this kind of world is, right? And the thing is this, all the children came to the church, including Baldur and the two Kuwaiti brothers, whose God was known as Allah. It's alright, one of the brothers reassured me, he's the same God underneath. And it offers that there's a world outside there. It even has the Baldur from the Middle East and the Kuwaiti Muslims, who basically explain things in more detail because they are more worldly. But Ruth, metaphorically, is absolutely trapped. And the thing is this, now with her father gone and mother in control of the house and finances, loads of things change. Denise comes in and basically tries to organise things. Their odious cousin Roland also comes in as well, okay, who's a lawyer, which they need to have him on side because they may need him in the future. It's a world, okay, that's rapidly changing for Ruth, who can't cope with it. And the thing is this, she writes in a diary, but she can't verbalise her fears. Because now, okay, she's approaching adulthood in this world of the 50s. She's expected to act like an adult, but she's still very much as a child. Okay, yeah, it's a very interesting juxtaposition, which I thought was wonderful. Here we are. Right. And the thing is this, it's the fact, okay, that suddenly, it's the fact, okay, her older brother Alfred should be sent off to a boarding school because now, okay, he's the only woman in the house. Okay, he's a man in the house. And the thing is this, is that Denise comes in and basically goes all over their property, okay, trying to find things to sell to actually send Alfred, okay, to boarding school. Because as he's the man in the house, he's going to need boarding school. Actually wins a scholarship, incidentally. I don't want to the boarding school, even though, okay, it was mentioned that it couldn't even basically reach the age of 9 because of their more kind of bohemian world. But here we are, right? Do you know, I think it now is more important to Alfred, Alfred George than mere sentiment, and besides, it's like giving it to him if he's going to benefit for going to the right school and meeting the right people. The mention of the girls going to a boarding school, okay, or getting scholarships because they're girls, right? And even Ruth points out how unfair it is. I suddenly get Alfred, who's a younger, he's like 9 years, he's like a child. He is going to a boarding school because he's a man of the house when he's a child, right? So what, to make him a man and make him a man of the house, I've got to send him away, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, once again, the old and the new world comes in, okay, is when Denise says they need to go to London and go to have a debutante ball. Now, remember, these are children from the countryside. They're actually going to be presented at court at a debutante ball and meet the royal family and curtsy and everything like that in between. And they've got absolutely no idea. These are girls from the countryside, okay? They are a bit more genteel, if you will, okay, just the education. But they absolutely got no idea how London society works. But the news key things, if you throw them into this world, they will meet the men that they wish to marry. They will meet the right men, right, if you will. Here you go. So Denise's idea, I explained, standing well back. She said we'll become debutantes for the day, but I don't really understand what it's all about. I take Uncle Roland, okay, to this, and tell you, my dear, Roland's account on the Cape pretense was presenting young women at court was as straightforward as veritas. You see, my dear, started by young Victoria, she was such a lovely queen, 19 years old, took her home, so much responsibility and no nice girls out there. Said once to our lady in waiting, why, ma, my daughter is your age exactly. She'll make a very pleasant companion. Definitely not, replies Victoria, or hoity-toity. How could your daughter be suitable company for someone like me? I never introduced to her. So all these lovely young ladies in waiting had a pow-pow. How I wish I'd been there. I took all their delicious daughters, along with their delectable nieces, to afternoon tea in Victoria. She made the inspection herself, saw a nice bunch of fillies, definitely girls of her own class, picked the one she took a fancy to be her pals till she met Albert. Ah, poor chap, died of typhoid at 42, even younger than your papa. Right. Why did a nice man like Prince Albert and my father die while creepy ones that Roland live on? Right. Here you go. So that's the idea, okay, of the Deb. So you think, okay, this Deb was going to go very, very well, but a nice kind of contrast, it doesn't. It goes badly. When these girls, okay, have like an afternoon ball, okay, they have a party for the house, it goes badly. When, okay, they're presented at court, once again, it also goes badly. The readers are running through this novel in a very kind of melancholy air, okay? Because when they get to the palace, it's very, very brief, okay? They put it in a newspaper, and the fact is the mother actually made their dress, okay? And the fact that everyone said, oh, you've never been here, you've never taken the deportment lessons on how to curtsy, you don't know how to function in society. It's actually a disaster for them. And it's very, very brief. For me, the Paris trip was an embarrassing hiccup, which I'll soon get over. But Mary was seriously unsettled and not in any direction that Denise wanted. She's got it wrong. We aren't like those double barrel people, Mary said unhappily, although she might be mistaken for one. Right. No, I really well hope not. We never were. We never will be. It's just a big misunderstanding. Right. Exactly. Denise wanted them taken a call, but her sister Mary knew that it was a failure, an absolute failure. And the thing is this, the old world, the counterculture world of the 1960s is actually encroaching on these women's lives, okay? These young women's lives. They actually go, okay, to a beatnik festival. They go to a jazz festival. Now, these girls who've never experienced jazz or jazz culture at this time, okay, jazz at the time, okay, it's very kind of cliche. Women wearing berets and smoking, wearing striped French tops, that kind of thing. They're kind of like, wearing shades all the time, which I often do in summer because I'm photosensitive. But the thing is, this kind of beatnik world, okay, of jazz and counterculture and groovy, man. When they go to this festival, they actually bunk off school and they experience a world they never ever considered, of this kind of world, okay, where everyone all coming together and just enjoying jazz and learning the lingo and just enjoying the mood. And actually, that's one thing, okay, it goes well. But of course, one thing is this, is that Ruth is so unsettled, okay, and I absolutely love this bit here. It's most about keeping cool yet being hot at the same time and having a detached attitude whilst enjoying everything. Man, chick, dig like cat, ball, crazy, swing pad, square, hip, cool with key vocabulary. As night fell, the ambience grew hotter and the temperature actually cooler. Dew gathered, mist wafted, our naked feet became cold and wet. But at least I felt we were really getting it. Right. Aside the castle gates, more bands were playing louder and faster than the ones inside. Trad, said May prudently. Cool, man. Right. So, but and even in this case, is like their tent is actually basically stolen from them. They actually camp out on the beach, and they talk more. And the thing is this, it's right. Mary's actually left school. Mary has actually, whilst Ruth, okay, was dealing with her life, this actually happened off off book, if you will. It's Ruth finds out that Mary is leaving. Okay, she actually got into art school, right? And Ruth had actually no idea her sister was even planning this. Once again, interesting juxtaposition. Okay, you'd think, okay, your sisters would have confided in each other, but they didn't. Once again, this nice juxtaposition, okay, between what is going on and Ruth. Ruth is very, very I. Okay, essentially she's id, if you will. Yet the world out there is changing and she can't cope. She absolutely can't cope with it. Here we are. So I did the festival another day, but I was going anxious. Though I liked it, but at the same time I felt a dutiful pull. Technically, we were truanting. Luckily, I said to Mary, "It's Monday, what about school?" She said, "I left. Didn't you know? You can't have." "Yes, I'm old enough. I go to art school. Just to work along to show them. People said I can start next term. I get a grant and rent a room." I felt confused. How could she leave me? It felt like a betrayal. Clearly, sticking by me in a bond of eternal sisterhood came low on the list of priorities. So I only desired to find a rich, sleek man with a fast car. So I had a plans of us finished digging a swimming pool. Art came first. So her sister's life's changed, but Ruth's hasn't. Ruth's absolutely hasn't. And the thing is this, when they actually have to sell the house, they've got to sell the house and find a new place to live, right, for the family. It's the basically the grandmother lives on the estate. She lives on the land, like a small cottage. And Ruth had to sit there and watch everything being moved out. She has to watch her brothers at boarding school. Her younger ones are the younger ones. Her sister's going off to art school. It's the fact is she has to sit there and watch a family home being emptied, and it's a very, very difficult juxtaposition for her. And the fact is she mentally can't cope with it. Once again, very, very interesting. Here we are. Had I really made the right choice? Had I ever made a choice at all? I may settled for the easiest option, snuggling down into the nearest security. What happened for that spark which weren't once yearned for so much? Make her launch herself out into the world by simple force of own creativity. Why couldn't I? So what she's actually doing, what she actually does is stay with her grandmother. She's going to live with her grandmother in the country, watching new people move into her old house while she's living on the fringes. Now, interesting too, because it's a fear of launching herself. She's not ready yet. She's absolutely not ready yet. Mary is going off. Everyone's going off in a new adventure. But the thing is, Ruth is scared too. And I absolutely love that. They always say, okay, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. But the thing is, Ruth is not ready for this. So much has happened in her life, okay, in this year, that she's not ready to launch herself out into this world. And it actually ends, okay, right. Ruth did, as potted tea or hot and ready. I wondered, could I really spend the rest of my life with no proper ambition, on no real company, but an old granny and a disobedient dog? It ends with Ruth not launching herself out there, but staying where she is this time, trying to figure out her life. And to be honest, I love this ending because it's realistic. She's not ready for the big wide world yet. She's too young. She's 15 years old. She needs time to figure out her life. She's from a family of creators, but doubts her own talent. Her parents are writers. Her sister is an artist. Her brother is at boarding school. The younger ones are the younger ones. Okay, they're basically babies. So she's not ready. Essentially she's the second oldest, but in the end, she's not ready for the world yet. And I love that. This Bloom of Youth, I got Ruth so well. She was so realistic. There's a hesitance, which just felt natural. And I do recommend this book. I really, really do. Just for its melancholy air of a changing world which a woman can't cope with. Remember, it is just post-war. Is happening, and the world is changing too fast. For even it's said, okay, the world was changing fast for the old people, but even for younger people, it was still the same. So, Bloom of Youth by Rachel Anderson. Yes, I do recommend this book. I'm signing off here. Bye now.